Hello everyone. I hope you are all doing good and keeping yourself safe. Okay, so today we are going to learn about how to create splash screen using Adobe Animate. Okay, so for that we are just going to open the Adobe Creative Cloud. Okay, so that is open. So I'm going to click open Adobe Animate. Okay, so first of all, what is a splash screen? So a splash screen is a graphical control element consisting of a window containing an image or a logo and the current version of the software. So what is you are seeing now at the moment is the splash screen of Adobe Animate, where it is telling you that it is initializing fonts or APIs or whatever that is being loaded for the software. So a splash screen usually appears while a game or a program is launching. So a splash page is an introductory page of any website or game or an application. So a splash screen may cover the entire screen or a web page, or may simply be a rectangle near the center of the screen or a page. The splash screens of the operating system and some applications that expected to be running in full screen usually cover the entire screen. So depending upon your requirement, you create your splash screen of your application. So today what we are going to learn is how we can create a splash screen using Adobe Animate for any game, application, or you can say as a kiosk. Okay, so as a multimedia student you will be working more with the kiosk. So how we can create a kiosk splash screen? So that's what today we are going to learn. So by the time it is being loaded, so we'll wait. Okay, so let us start with the new file. Okay, so today we are going to learn about the different components that are available in Adobe Animate. So we are going to look into the properties of those components. Okay, so for this I'm just going to take a normal uh, computer screen animation. So you can change it to different phone or different other categories that you like to, but please remember it should be ActionScript 3 because we are working on ActionScript 3. So we are going to create this one. Okay, so it's taking time to load up. Okay, so there are so many previous working applications. Okay, so now our animation screen is here. Okay, so now you can go to Windows. Okay, so here you can browse through components, or there's a specific key, control F7, function key 7. So you click over here on components. Okay, so the component will come over here. So here you have different components like button, checkboxes, color picker, data grid, text or label, list, and so on. Okay, so you have user interface loader, and you also have all the video components available like buttons, forward, back, pause, and so on. So depending upon your requirement, you create these components on your animation. For example, if I drag and drop this button, so here is a simple but please remember that these are simple buttons. Okay, so there's nothing special about it, but because there is a user interface, they are predefined, so you can utilize it in your animation or program, whatever you want to say. So here's that show parameters option is available. So when you click on show parameters, you can have all the options that are associated with it. Okay, so let me, okay, so like for example, if I want to change it to submit, okay, and I want it to be selected when my application is run. I want it to be visible or not visible, or if I want to give some specific value. Okay, so we can play with this thing with the component properties. Similarly, as we learned in the previous section, that we have to give the name of the instance. For example, submit instance. Okay, so then if we want to do some programming behind it on clicking of the button, so we can do that. So the ideology behind it is same. Similarly, you can do with some checkboxes depending upon the requirement of your application. So it depends how you wanted to make your splash screen using the different components. Okay, so I can play with the properties of this label, like for example choice 1. Okay, if you want it to be unenabled, you can use those options as well. Similarly, you have the label. Okay, so this label is a simple label using components. So but if you want, you can use this text tool instead of label. So here you will have more fancy and more properties using this text tool rather than using label. Okay, similarly you have radio button, progress bar, slider, text area, and this is the user interface loader. Okay, so this you normally when it happens when you are creating your application, so calculating RAM, so you have to configure, you have to do the coding, so which page needs to be loaded depending upon if something is going wrong, more memory is being utilized, so what thing with less graphics you want to show it to the user. So over there you use this user interface loader. So these are some components that are available, so we are going to go through it and we are going to learn how to make the simple splash screen. We are not going to make it something fancy, but the ideology is how you can make a simple splash screen using all these options or the things that are available in our Adobe Animate. Okay, so in order to make this splash screen application, okay, so I'm just going to close this component. Okay, so I'm going to go to window, and over here we have scene. Okay, so here I'm going to make two scenes. Okay, so I'm just going to make, okay, so one will be the home, okay, and the other one will be our splash screen. Okay, so in home I'm going to use home, so please remember that in home I'm just going to add some text. Okay, by default it is coming, so I'm just going to use some text. Okay, and I'm going to write home. Okay, and I'm going to give this black as my color. Okay, and I'm just going to make it a bit. Okay, so when I do that, if I press Ctrl K, if you want to do the alignment, you can use those alignment. Okay, so if you think that it is fine or you want to do some alignment, you can do that. Okay, then over here I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to go to action and I'm going to use this stop. The reason I'm doing this is otherwise it will come in loop, and that I don't want. Okay, so this is my home screen. Now I'm going to go to splash. Okay, so in order to make this application, so I'm going to use pre-vector lava pot. Okay, so for example I'm done with vector Z. I'm going to go there on the website. Okay, so please remember that the thing that says pro, please do not download these ones because these will not be freely available to you. Okay, so please do not download these options where it says Pro. Okay, so depending upon your requirements, you download the free vector. Okay, so please remember that do not download this Pro. You can sort it by free license. Okay, so you can use that option. Okay, so I'm just looking for a small pot that we can download, or you can use this free license. Okay, please do not download this iStock sponsored images because they will be asking you money, so you don't need that. Okay, so I'm going to download this one. Okay, so this is free. Okay, so I'm going to save the file. Okay, so I'm going to cut the file from the folder. Okay, so now I'm going to open it. Okay, so if you have any other software to extract that zip file, you can use those ones as well. Okay, okay, so you will be finding this. I'll extract it over here. So okay, so you have this Adobe Illustrator file. Okay, so please remember that if you are downloading these images from the internet, so it should be free license images. You have to mention it in your assignment when you're doing your assignment from where you have downloaded the graphics or the images. Okay, so it can be either Adobe Illustrator file or encapsulated PostScript like EPS file, which you can open it in Adobe Illustrator. Okay, so I'm just going to open this file in Adobe Illustrator, so it will take time to load. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the pot over here. Okay, so I have copied the pot from the Adobe Illustrator and I paste it over here. So I'm just going to rename the layer pot, and I'm going to add another layer with logo. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut this and paste it in this one. Okay, so now you can see that the flower is coming in front of the pot. That I don't want, because the reason I did this thing is because I will be doing an animation where I will be increasing the flower. It's up to you, you can do it with the pot, it's depend upon you. So now I want the flower to go inside the pot, because if you look at the stem, that is coming outside. So what I can do is just drag and drop the layer in the background and then it will be fine. So if I select this one, and I will put it a bit up. That's fine. Okay, so now what we are going to do is first I'm just going to free transform. I'll make it a bit smaller because it looks a bit bigger. Don't forget to use the shift key. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a splash screen for 5 seconds. So for that, okay, let me check the screen. Okay, so we have 24 frames. So for 5 seconds, how much we need? We need for 1 second 24 frames. So for 5 seconds, if you look over here, it will be around 120 frames. So for pot, I'm not doing anything. Okay, so I'm just going to insert the keyframe, and I'm going to lock it because I don't want this thing to do anything. Now I want to do this to get bigger. Okay, so in order to do that, first you need to convert it to a symbol. So F8 is a key. Okay, so make it as a graphic. Okay, so when you make it as a graphic, you can easily create a classic tween when you are doing the animation. Okay, so I'm just going to create an insert keyframe. Okay, and I'm going to transform this one. Okay, sorry, don't forget the shift key. So I'm going to make it bigger, and then I'm going to create a classic tween. So if you look at this, what is actually happening, the flower is growing inside the pot. Okay, so this happens for 5 seconds. Okay, so now I'm going to insert another layer. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add another layer over here. Okay, on top, this is the loading. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a rectangle over here. Okay, I'll make some good color for that. Okay, so I'm just going to make a small. Okay, this is a shape. Okay, so if you look over here, so this is the shape. Okay, so I'm just going to do the free transform. Okay, so the reason I did that, okay, I'll show you that I want my status bar to run from here till it is going to be loaded. So for that we have to use the pivot tool. Okay, so I want my control to start from here. Okay, and now I'm going to make the status bar smaller. Now I'm going to go to the last keyframe. Here I'm going to do insert keyframe, and I'll make it smaller. So how big the see, this is the thing with the pivot. So if we put it over here, so see, now it is happening like that. So if you look at the middle of the control, so it should align with the pot. So that means we are having in the half or in the middle, and here I'm going to create a shape tween. So if I am going to the reason is because in the middle I did that pivot thing. So what you can do is go to back, Control Z, Control Z, Okay, so I'm just going to delete this one so to make it much better. Okay, so this is loading. Okay, so in loading I will create this thing, this bar. Okay, so again I will be using this free transform, and this will be over here. Okay, and this one will be like this, and then I am going to go last keyframe, Z keyframe. So if you look at this pivot, okay, it's again in the middle, so I'll just go and make it in here, and I will stretch it and make it like that, and I will create shape tool. Okay, so now you cannot see the shift. Okay, so this is how my loading will come. Okay, so so sometime you will see this dotted line as a border. If you don't want, so you can remove this with the tools. So I'm not going into that part, but still I want to add some text over here. So how we can do that? Okay, so in order to do that, I'm going to take a rectangle. Okay, so what I will do is, okay, we are at the last frame. Okay, so I'm just going to add another layer. So this is the border. Okay, so over here what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make the similar rectangle. Oh my God. That is the reason. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make as no fill. So from here you can use this option. Okay, so I'm going to create, so I cannot see it, so what I can do is, so in order to do that, what I'm going to do, so where I was, okay, in this border, so I will create this one. Why it's not showing? Okay, the reason is I put the stroke different, so both were no fill, that's why it was not showing. Okay, so I will make it from here so you can easily understand how it will be like. So now I'm going to put, I'm just going to free transform. Okay, this one. Okay. Okay. So if I look at it, see what I have done, I created the border, and in that one it will work, so it will give a nice effect on the loading, though you can use without the border. And the stroke size over here talks about that what will be the border size that you want to make. So okay, so it looks much more cleaner and better. Okay, so now we need to add some text on it, so I'll close that one. Okay, so there was one script error that I made. So now if you look at the output screen, you will see that after loading the home screen will come and will stop. Okay, so this is how this splash screen should look like. Okay, so now we are going to add another layer for um, loading text. Okay, for that what we can do is we can create a new movie clip as we learned previously. Okay, so we'll create a movie clip. Loading text. Okay, so here the thing is we can create loading. Okay, so this is my first. Okay, insert keyframe. I'll put one more over here. Insert keyframe. Okay, so this is my loading text. So I can go to my library. So loading text is available. I can just import it into okay, the text color is same, so I will go to my loading text and I will just change the color to black. Okay, so now that's done. Now it's not showing. Okay, so we'll go to loading text again. It is done. What is this? Okay, so that is fine now. Still it is not. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to delete this one. I will create a new one. Okay, so loading text. Okay, here I'm going to put properties. Okay, so loading. Here it is. Okay, loading. Okay, fifth frame is a keyframe. What is happening? Okay, so this is what happened when you use. Let me check if it is working fine or not. I made some mistake. Okay, so that is fine. Okay, I'm going to lock this one so nothing will be done. Okay, insert. First let me check the library. I'll be deleting this one from the library. Okay, that is fine now. Insert new text. Loading text. So this is a movie clip. So text I'm going to put loading. Okay, fifth keyframe. I'm just going to insert keyframe. One more dot. 10th. Insert keyframe. I'm going to put another dot. So now that is done. So this is my movie clip. I cannot see the loading text. Something is going wrong. Okay, I found the problem. Okay, loading text. Okay, movie clip fine. I have to delete this one. Okay, I'll fix this one over here. Okay, so the problem is I have frames. Okay, so on the first frame I'm going to add this text. Okay, better to delete, something is going. Okay, loading text. Okay, I'll put over here loading. Okay, on the frame, instead of keyframe, put frame. Okay, and over here put one more dot. over here, insert frame, and put one more dot. So frame, okay, on for example 30, insert frame. Okay, so for fifth, insert keyframe. I'm just going to add one more dot. In here, insert keyframe. I'm going to add one more dot. Okay, in here, I'll put classic tween. In here, I will get classic tween. Okay, so it will be like this. Okay, the reason is, okay, I'll delete everything, remove frames. Okay, loading text. Okay, so I'll delete the layer over here. I'll add another layer. We'll delete this one. Okay, so loading. Okay, on fifth, I will put insert keyframe. I'll put one dot. 10th, insert keyframe. I'll put another dot. On 15, insert keyframe. The reason I'm putting so much differences, so later on when this thing works out, so it will have a slow effect. So if you have if we look at the output over here, okay, see, let us see. Okay, so what we'll go do is we'll go back to our thing, and I will put this loading text over here. I will put another layer. So here it is, the text. Please remember that putting the layers rename to whatever work you are doing. Okay, so the beauty with this loading is I'll put it in here. I'll put free transform, so much better. Okay, for example over here, so now if we run, over here, okay, so now we are going to take the output. Let's see what happens. Okay, so because when I was doing the animation, so loading was moving, so if you have made it stable over here, so it will be looking like this. Okay, so this effect can be much better as well sometimes, so depending upon you. So this is a better splash screen, or you can do more work while doing it. Okay, so see, if we have look over here what we have done. Okay, oh sorry, so I can lock this one. So see, if I select all by using the control panel, like if I see this, if you want, you can select with the K and you can align the things. Okay, so you can use these options to align, or you can use control and double quote, so you will get the grid. So when you are making your animation, you can fix and spot the things where it is applicable in your splash screen. So you can work with different things for your liking, and you can go and try this one out. So this will be a good exposure for you. Okay, so thanks very much.